I almost went to the Zen temple when we had all these closures, when it was raining, because they had a service at 10 o'clock. I almost went by it, because Mom Sing's a pretty cool person. Every different is meditation.
Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Lonely without all the BWA people here.
I figured it was a few, not that many.
Not as many as usual. Say hi to Ariana. Ariana, this is Mitch, right? Ariana is one of our neighbors. She just wandered over yesterday and said we'll come to service on Sundays. From the Columbarium. So Mitch is new too, relatively new. So if you have questions, you can ask. Mike is a floater. He goes weekend services at all of the campuses. And knows a lot more than he puts on.
And explain to me what in the military there's a lot of flows. They don't do anything. They just yeah, he did. You don't want to be called.
Hey, this is a good deal. This is a good deal.
So that was a good step of it, so the larger. I don't know how San Jose, but I get during the pandemic especially, they did their Zoom and I catch their different temples, you know. So I know the history a little bit more than so they gotta
Yes, it was down the hill, across a ravine, and the ravine was built up years ago. And they put a culvert in there, not too big of one, that big around, ravine. And 2 times, the water almost crashed. So what I did was I took 4 inches of, I put another 6 inches. 9 inches. So that
You should hold it on your.
Aloha, Makawao. Aloha for everybody. Good morning, I'm Carrie. I'm the minister here, and I'll also be your MC this morning. So, welcome to our Dharma family service for March 29th. I'd like to welcome some guests, some new folks. We have Ariana, who's in the back row here. She's one of our neighbors and just literally walked over to the temple yesterday, and I invited her to come over. Hey, why don't you come in on Sunday morning and check us out? And then Erica, who's in the back row over there, joining us for the second or third time. She might have to leave a little early because she's got some caregiving stuff to do. But she wanted to come in to experience this nice, quiet space that we have here. And then we also have Michael, Vida, and Jackson. Just happens to be Michael's birthday, so if you have a chance, wish him a happy birthday. And again, same kind of situation where I've gone by the temple a couple of times and said, hey, the doors are open, let's just come on in. So we'll be beginning our service this morning. You might see me running around a lot. We're going to start by singing the Vandana Tisalona, which is an ancient chant both in Pali and English. The words will be on the screens, and please stand if you are able.
For guidance.
Thank you. Please be seated. We'll now sing the Gatha, Gasho with Amida, which is in English, and the words will be shown on the screen. And then this will be followed by a short quiet meditation. Then I feel great compassion. I gasho with Amida. Nembutsu in work and play. Every day with Amida. Every moment filled with light. I gasho with Amida. Remember the golden chain, kindness to all living things. I will follow this teaching. I gasho with Amida. In the clear bright morning sun, in the fading light of day, in the darkness of the night, I gasho with Amida. Namo Amida Butsu. I live in great compassion. This great power guides my life. I gasho Let's sit together quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you are able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Now sit up straight and align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down into the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes and just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, you feel the energy of this beautiful morning filling your body. And as you breathe out, any stress or worries in your mind just fade away. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation. Started early, but everyone's welcome to offer incense at this time as an expression of gratitude for the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. You can use any of the three incense burners if you want. And if it's your first time, don't worry too much about the form, it's okay. I can teach you after that. pretty similar in most Buddhist numbers. If you summarize it, you see this repeated. The more you practice with these things, Okay, thank you very much. Let's all recite the Golden Chain of Love together. For those of us joining us for the first time, this was actually written in Hawaii by the first non-Japanese female priest ordained in the Jodashin Shunponganji system. Her name was Dorothy Hunt. And so she was trying to basically find an easy way to summarize all the Buddhist teachings all into one thing that children could do. And so this is the result of that. This was at the turn of the century, it was 19th century. So it's been a while. So let's try the Golden Chain of Love again. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Namo Amida. Surprise, that's me too.
And now, live from Makawao, it's Children's Dharma Story Time, starring Barkley the dog, and Lucy the ladybug, and little baby guy. Baby, aloha, kako. Ohio gozaimasu. Good morning. Mahalo for coming this morning, so happy to see all of y'all. I'd like you to meet the love of my life. This here's Lucy the ladybug. Good morning. Ohio gozaimasu. Thank you for coming this morning. And this is our love baby guy.
What's next? Sorry.
Today's story is Change Sings, a children's anthem. Words by Amanda Gorman and pictures by Lauren Long. Change Sings, a children's anthem by Amanda Gorman and Lauren Long. I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. I scream with the skies of red and blue streamers. I dream with the cries of tried and true dreamers. I'm a chant that rises and sings. There is hope where my change sings. Though some don't understand it, those windmills of mysteries, I sing with all the planet and its hills of histories. I hum with 100 hearts, each of lifting a hand. I use my strengths and my smarts, take a knee to make a stand. I'm bright as the light each day brings. There is love where my change sings. I show others tolerance, though it might take some courage. I don't make a taller fence, but fight to build a better bridge. I talk not only of distances from where and how we came. I also walk our differences to show we are the same. I'm a movement that roars and springs. There's a wave where my change sings. Change sings where? There, inside of me. Because I'm the change I want to see. As I grow, it grows like seeds. I am just what the world needs. I'm the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings. We are the wave starting to spring, for we are the change we sing. We're what the world is becoming, and we know it won't be long. We all hear change strumming. Won't you sing along? And this book is dedicated for my mom, who always believed in my voice, and that's from AG. And for Tracy, who is always a vital part of my work, and that's from LL. I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. The end. And that was the story Change Sings, a children's anthem. Words by Amanda Gorman and pictures by Lauren Long.
Hey, hi, wasn't that a great story? Oh, wait, I love how she sang, because she ain't afraid of change. Me, I don't like change very much. I kind of like doing the same thing over and over and over every day. Well, yes, that's me. I'm just a rascal dog who likes being a rascal dog. But even I know everything changes. Namawami Dowds. Well, how about you, Lucy Ladybug, love my life? What did you like about the story?
Mahalo for asking, Barkley. I love how she said, be the change you want to see. Isn't that a wonderful idea? If change is inevitable, then be the change you want to see. How about you, baby doll? Hey, Cadence, want to be my third hand? Now, Mommy Dabatsu is change singing. Won't you sing along with us? Now, Mommy Dabatsu. 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 Okay. Now, Mommy Dabatsu.
Okay, well, we got to get going. So remember, kids,
Be good. Be good.
but not too much. No, okay.
10 seconds too late, but that's okay. So for those who have never met my grandchildren, our grandchildren, this is Melody and this is Cadence. And Cadence was supposed to say, so when I say, be good, he was supposed to yell, no! But of course, he's only 6, he's a little shy. But that was the joke, so please congratulate him on doing a good job. Good job, Cadence. So next time you can be one of the puppets of the voice if you like. It's a little hard with only 2 hands and 3 fingers. So be good.
No.
But not too much. Okay. So kids, you can go to sleep now because Robin Carey is going to give a Dharma talk. And those are always boring. I think Melody was like 5 when she said that. She's like, Grandpa,
how come the adult talk is always so boring? Which made me think. So hopefully this morning is not a boring Dharma talk, because here we go. There can be some time lagging. Sorry. Okay, so this one, I'd just like to give you a quick look at what I was doing in Japan for 10 days. So as you know, or as most of you know, we were in Japan. And this one I just titled Hobukban, Bigger Than My Head, and Other Stories from Japan. It'll become clear what I'm talking about shortly. Okay, why is it so slow? Okay, so it's when the technology fails, try the background one. Oh, it's going really slow today. So let me go back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so from March 18 to March 20th, Reverend Blaine Higa, who's the director of the Buddhist Study Center, and he's the resident minister of the Kona Honganji, myself, and then 5 of our colleagues from the DCA, which is the organization on the mainland. So historical reasons, Hawaii and the mainland are separate districts with separate bosses, with separate bishops. So we have the great honor and privilege to participate in a special seminar at Honzan, the Honganji in Kyoto. So it's the mother temple, the headquarters temple. And this was specifically for Kaikyoshi, or overseas missionaries that were locally appointed. So not coming from Japan, but starting their journey here in the US, being born native speakers of English, studying, as Mitch has started, right? Studying all of this stuff, right, which is originally written in Sanskrit, which translated into Chinese, and then the Chinese would translate into Japanese, the Japanese translate into English. So you can imagine, starting in English and going backwards is a bit of a challenge. And so, it's a very special time for all of us, 3 days. So, excuse me. So one of the highlights was encountering an Obukban rice offering on the altar for Master Shinran, the founder of the tradition. It's literally bigger than my head. Just to give you some comparison, I'll go into the altar. So normally the rice offering looks like this. We have 3 of them. It takes about 3 cups of rice. Right, so you can see, okay, that's fairly reasonable. Also, you might notice that I hold it above my head. It's considered that the breath is impure. So breathing on the offering of the food to the Buddha would be considered inappropriate. So we carry the rice above our heads. So just, I'll give you more on that later, but just keep that in your head. That's the usual size for a Hobukban. So this photograph actually is me and Reverend Blaine, and this is the chapel, or the altar space of what is called the Unknown Den, which is primarily used for private weddings. So if you wanted to have a Buddhist wedding at the Honganji, this is one of the spaces that you would normally be using. It's a beautiful, beautiful altar. Oh. And so we were privileged to have an audience with His Eminence, Monshu Kojun Mokani, the chief priest of the Honganji and the spiritual head of Jodoshinshu Honganji Ha, which is the organization. His photograph, he's the younger gentleman on the right there, on the wall. Equivalent, he's the spiritual leader, he's the head of everything. The closest equivalent most people would be familiar with is he's the Pope. Of the Jodoshinshu organization. So it's a big deal, just put it that way. It's a really big deal. And he greeted us in a special guest house that's within the residential compound for the Pomonshu and his family. So we got to go into a very, very special place. There's a lot of security and stuff around there. And, it's a special house where they greet the special guests. And so we're inside the Monshu's residential compound, where the Monshu's house. And so this particular slide is the inner garden of the Honganji complex, which is never open to the public. You have to have a special audience with the Monshu to get this view. It's an incredible example of Japanese garden design and architecture. And the view, you can see the roof line of the Goeido, the hall to the founder, the hall to Shima. So you would never, ever be able to see this angle of the roof line. And so this is the Honganji, this is our mother temple. And the Monshu encouraged us to do our very best in our mission of opening the teachings. Oops, I lost the connection. Let's see if it comes back. There we go. So he encouraged us, in our mission of opening the teachings. Okay. And we received lectures from the former bishop of the BCA, Reverend Koshin Ogui, who I'll be speaking about in a bit. Also, Reverend Nobuya Mitsuda, the head of Shikimubu, which is the department responsible for Honganji ritual and liturgy around the world, including ceremonies at the Honganji in Kyoto. So very, very strict rules. Just as a comparison to give you some ideas, these are the casual robes. These are the everyday robes. And you can see in this photograph, we're actually in the space behind the altar, which unless you're a priest, you would never, ever have a chance to go back there. Normally, we wouldn't be wearing casual robes, we'd be wearing very formal robes. So again, a big deal. I can show you the back room here, but it's half storage space. That's the vacuum cleaners and stuff are back here. It's not as exceptional as this. I'm a little careful about sharing too many pictures because we're actually not supposed to. So you guys are lucky. We also have Reverend Shinko Hasanami, who's the head of the propagation department, who explained the organizational structure and the regulations of the Honganji. Just for reference, the international districts we report to the propagation department. And also Reverend Yoko Yoshida from the General Planning Bureau, who gave us an overview of all the outreach programs they're trying in Japan. If you know a little bit about Japan, Japan's population has been shrinking for 30 years, so less and less Japanese people. Temples in Japan are actually closing faster, at a faster rate than here in Hawaii. So you can imagine being the largest, most influential Buddhist organization in Japan for centuries, and yet experiencing membership decline and temples closing. We were also given some very special tours of the Honganji Temple and what is known as Shinshu Hongyo, which that's the formal name for Higashi Honganji. So again, this is the back altar space of the Amida-do, and normally lay people, unless you're an ordained priest, one time a year when they do the big cleanup, lay people wearing like the shikisho, like our granddaughter and grandson are wearing, and Allison, and wearing special clothes, you'd be allowed to go into the back and into the altar space to help clean it. So all of the shiny gold stuff is taken down, is polished and cleaned, all the brass work is cleaned of the wax, etc. That would be the only time a layperson would get this view. So it was a special tour. We also have the privilege of chanting sutra in front of the niches, the niches for Hawaii and the BCA temples, which have a special section at the Otani Hongyo, which is the mausoleum to Shinran, and all of his descendants. So Shinran, the founder, all of the Monshu, all of his descendant chief priests, and this is number 25. His dad is still around, number 24. So generations of chief priesthood, generations of passionate followers of Yonenbutsu. So the Hawaii temples have a special niche there. Kind of hard to see, but from the left it's Wailuku, the temples of Maui, the temples of Hawaii, and the temples of Oahu. Okay, and so we are probably the most most important lecture that he received was from Reverend Koshin Ogui. Some of you may have had a chance to hear at some point. He was the former bishop of the BCA, so he reached the top. Amazingly, 56 years as an overseas missionary. So he comes to America as a young man, straight from Japan. 56 years as an overseas missionary. I started when I was like 50-something, so I have to be 120 to get as many years of service as he did. And so his theme was what it means to be Kaitoshi. What does it mean to be an overseas missionary? So Reverend Ogui oversaw great changes in the 50 years of his career. So the Honganji went from being in Japanese for Japanese and Japanese Americans to shifting to today, where even the Japanese Americans don't speak Japanese, and the great majority of the members become non-Japanese, people who are not part of the Honganji tradition. You can see, hopefully, that we're trained very specifically in ritual, liturgy, all based on what they do in Japan. And then they say, okay, go to Hawaii and figure it out. Which is essentially, right, this is the changes that Bishop Ogui saw. He actually introduced the Minister Lay Assistant Program, which provides a path for local people to learn ritual and liturgy and the doctrine. It does provide a direct path to Tokudo, to ordination as a priest of the Honganji, if that's what you like to do. But it's really a way for lay people to go beyond just sitting in the audience and listening to talks. You can start learning that, when the whole thing about the rice, right, putting it above your head. Does the statue of the Buddha really care if you're reading on the rice? No. But it helps you to remember the importance of religious faith, of the spiritual connection people feel. Sitting like this, I don't recommend it, and it takes some practice to learn how to sit like this. It's actually, sitting is the easy part, standing up is the hard part. But he created this program, took a lot of criticism from Japan, because you have people who don't speak Japanese. Oh, they're not Japanese. Becoming priests, ordained priests of the Honganji. It's an 850-year-old tradition. They take it very seriously. And the definition, the translation of Kaitoshi literally means open teachings, messenger, or servant. So many times it's written in kanji as teacher, but we're not considered teachers. We're considered servants or messengers. So I'm here to open the teachings. We sell the complete set for $50 in the office if you'd like to start reading this stuff. Mitch will tell you it's pretty dense reading. So, a couple things. Reverend Ogui encouraged us to always remember Aizan Boho, or love Honzan, so love the Honganji, and defend the Dharma. That this is our mission, to always treat the Honganji with love. Why? Because our debt of gratitude to the Honganji, to the chief priest, to the Monshu, to all of the Monshus going all the way back to Shinran Shonin, to all of the bishops, all of the ministers, all the lay people who came before us. We have a 120-year history here on Maui. So many people came before us, before this temple, and they just gave it to us. Here you go. It's up to you now. The question of having received this gift, what do we do with it? What do we do with it? It's a reminder that our debt of gratitude to Honganji can never be repaid, and yet we must try our best. So love the Honganji, and that our duty as missionaries is to defend or protect the Dharma of Jodo Shinshu as taught by our founder, Shinran. So in other words, I don't get to interpret Jodo Shinshu Honganji Buddhism. It's not Carrie's Buddhism. No, I teach what Shinran taught. That is my job. That is my responsibility. At the same time, Reverend Ogui, with a kind of a rascally smile, he was in America for 56 years. He encouraged us to don't be afraid to innovate. Change is inevitable. Don't fear change. Innovate. But at the same time, Honzan, the mother temple in Japan, they don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers. So love the Honganji, defend the Dharma, but innovate, innovate, innovate. Don't be afraid of change. And again, that's our mission, not because we're special, but it's because we have accepted this mission as our role and responsibility. So we bring the teachings to as many people in as many languages as we can. And so he told us, that is not all about. That is Omega Buddha working in our lives, the missionaries, so as ordained priests. That's Omega. And for people in the audience, right, so people you're trying to share the teachings with, how do you explain this? This faith is the simplest word I can think of. Okay, and we also have special guided tours of sacred spaces, at the Honganji, but also the Shinshu Hongyo, so Higashi Honganji. And so this photograph is another incredible example of Japanese garden design and architecture. You can see the roof line peeking up like this. When they designed, the designer of this garden intended everything to start from the pond, to the little slope that's going up, the big trees, and then the roof line of the hall to Shinran, right, forming the peak of Mount Fuji, right, the most sacred mountain in Japan. So it's all designed to lift your eyes upwards. And again, this is the backside of the temple, so it's never open to the public. So we were incredibly lucky to see these things. And so when you see the intention of the design, it's remarkable. And again, it goes back centuries, it goes back to the 14th century. Okay, so Reverend Kobayashi of Higashi Honganji. So again, we were treated to these special tours of the backside. And they have the Honganji at one time was, of course, the biggest religious organization in Japan, and so has a lot of treasures, including these ryobu, these sliding doors, which is an incredible, absolutely stunning example of Yamato-e, which is a style of Japanese painting, very traditional, which uses forced perspective. Look it up, it's kind of an interesting idea. Forced perspective of very bright pigments, which have survived for centuries. They're saying these panels are the originals. They clean them very carefully, but they have not been restored. And a lot of gold flake, gold leaf, used to create the shiny stuff. And this recreates scenes of Japanese court life, from the Tokugawa period. And so if you're elite, if you were noble, this is what it looked like. It's incredible. I mean, and again, you'd have to go to the national museums to see stuff of this book. Oh, I thought this is incredible. This wooden carving, a little hard to see, but it's like a deer and maple trees. It's a national treasure. And if you have a chance to look at the picture close up, you see there's all these spikes of the beam going across. So they're anti-pigeon defenses. Right? It's like all these like needles sticking out. So, right, you don't want to have a pigeon go up there and do what pigeons do, which is poop, onto a national treasure, because you don't want to be the guy trying to restore that thing. So I was, impressed both by the artwork and also by the pigeon defenses. So here we are. We were given a very rare privilege to participate in Jinjo, which is the sunrise service of the Honganji. We had 2 hours of training the day before in the rituals and the specialized liturgy for Shinki Higante, so the spring equinox service, which is one of the major services in the Honganji tradition. And we were allowed to join the services in the lower Naijin, which is the inner altar. And you can see there's this kind of a wooden fence which blocks off the outer altar and the inner altar. So we are allowed to be on the inside of the altar. Because we're all foreigners, they didn't want us to try sitting like this, so they gave us chairs, which is very kind of them. But I think you can see just by the way we're sitting that we took our liturgy and ritual classes very much to heart. Okay, here's the funny one. So we all took delight in many, many photographs and selfies of this replica of Obukwan, the rice offering. So if you remember the rice offering we use here, hey, just like this, right? This is literally bigger than my head. And I have a really big head, okay? So this thing is huge. It starts with 3.5 kilograms, which is 1.5 kilograms of dry rice, 3.3 pounds, 3 pounds of rice dry. You gotta wash it, gotta cook it, and then you start forming it by hand. If you do 1.5 kilos of rice, you get 3.5 kilograms of cooked rice, 7.7 pounds of rice, plus the container. So somebody has to sit there, like 8 pounds of rice to make this big, huge mountain thing that doesn't fall over, because somebody has to take 2 hands, lift it above their head, and the altar at Hometown is so big that this part here, where we have the purple things for the offerings, it's so big, a person can walk on it. Okay, so imagine how big it has to be that if you saw me come out of the door in the back and start walking around here, and there's literally, what you can't see is behind the table, but there's these steps. And so you're carrying, maybe 10 pounds worth of stuff. Everyone's watching you, and you gotta climb stairs. And you can see, and these are the short rows, and even this gets caught on the edges. So you can imagine, right, that the very youngest priest, so given that you're now a junior priest, you have to wash it. 3 pounds of rice. What? Come on, 5 pounds of rice bag looks like that, right? That's a lot of rice. So you have to do it, you have to cook it. Somebody has to make the beautiful stack, or whatever you call it. The joke was that it takes a senior priest to do this. One, you need the upper body strength to hold it like this without getting your sleeves caught on stuff. What do you do? And imagine if you're going up the stairs and you face planted right into the brook. You can imagine, you probably get excommunicated, right? You'd lose your priest license if you did something like that. So that was the joke. But they get so many questions at the administrative section that they made this replica out of plastic to show people just how big it is. So now you can tell people you have seen an Obukwan bigger than your head. So after 3 days, it was pretty intense actually. We have to be fully dressed, ready to go at 5:30 in the morning. We walk over to the Bali temple, we sit in the back, actually stand in the back, in position 1, getting ready for showtime. And bong, bong. And of course we're all the overseas guys, so everyone's looking at us to make sure that we're standing correctly, etc. Then we all walk in, 6 o'clock, service starts. Very specialized liturgy, takes a good 40 minutes or so. So we do that. Then 3 hours, 3 lectures, and then tours and all this stuff. And then, 2 hours of more ritual practice because we're doing a super special one for the next morning service. I will say that it was 43 degrees that first morning. So pretty cold. And if you're wearing Japanese robes, they kind of flap around, and when the wind blows, it's pretty cool. So anyway, kind of pooped out. But the more after 3 days, I finished the closing ceremony. We had a big team dinner. For whatever reason, I decided to take a walk, and I found myself at Higashi Homonji, which is a separate organization. It's the same teachings, but it's a separate organization. Just in time for the Dharma talk. So I had just come into the altar area and I sat down and was admiring the altar. Beautiful, beautiful altar. And one of the priests came and said, we have a Dharma talk starting in 5 minutes. You're welcome to join. I said, thank you. I think I will. And so I joined this Dharma talk, which is for Higan, which is the equinox. So day and night, light and dark are exactly the same. And Jodashin is the time to reflect on the balance between your secular life and your spiritual life. So even as we struggle to just survive in this human realm of confusion and delusion. So Reverend Makoto Ebayashi he emphasized the truth of how we can all, intellectually, we can all accept that all things reach the end of life, all things die. And everybody eventually dies. Intellectually, we can accept this sometimes. But we cannot easily accept the reality as it is, that the winds of impermanence, right, may strike us at any time. It could blow at any time. So we all kind of accept, oh yeah, eventually I'll reach the end of my life. But we don't truly accept the fact it could be today. It could be today. But, so thus unintentionally, we live in this state of existential anxiety. I mean, the back of our heads, we know we could be hit by a bus or something. Right? In my case, my medical conditions may result in a massive adverse event. I love the way medical people talk about stuff like that. It'd be a massive adverse event. Oh, okay. But we can't, it's hard to accept that, the reality that can happen any time. But the point being, if you do, if you truly accept that truth, the truth of impermanence, suddenly, this moment, you recognize how precious this is. How precious this is. And so, even when life doesn't go the way we want it to, you still have the strength and serenity to push it. But this is, as Reverend Ebayashi was trying to emphasize, this is one of the hardest Buddhist truths to accept. It's the hardest one to accept. So, for me, it was this wonderful opportunity. After 3 days of intensive training, I thought about it. Oh, how often do I have the chance to just sit in the audience and just listen? To not have to teach. To not make sure all the live stream cameras are working or the iPad's talking to the computer and stuff. But just to sit there and listen. So in Zen, they talk about returning to the heart of the beginner. The heart of the beginner. So imagine that, right? That even as an ordained priest, I've been doing this for 8 years as the resident minister here. It's been almost 10 years since I got ordained. You start thinking about it, it's like, wow. How often do I get to return to the heart of the beginner, just sit there and to let this Dharma sink into me? And so, Namo Amida Butsu, I was struck with the great compassion of Amida. It truly does work in mysterious ways. The movement, the working of Amida in our lives, it's in everything if we just open our eyes. We just open our eyes. Everything you need to know about life is right in front of you. If you need to understand things intellectually, that's what the big books are for. But in a lot of ways, it's just simply accepting these truths as reality as it is, and then living your life in accordance with that. Simple, right? Yeah, that's why they send us to school. That's why they keep sending us to continuing education to make sure we know what we're doing. Sorry. So this training, the 3 days of training, it really was a rare and wondrous opportunity for all of us as resident ministers. BCA has a greater minister shortage than we do. They have 60 temples, I think, in the mainland. And I think they've only got about 40 ministers, maybe all told. But here, we've got maybe 30 temples and about 20 ministers. So everybody's short. Everybody's super busy, going crazy all the time. And so for us, it's this amazing time to say, all right, let's get refocused on why we became missionaries in the beginning. Reflect on it, with intention. Usually I'm just kind of responding to whatever happens, but also to remember this debt of gratitude that we have to the Buddha, to the great master, the 7 Pure Land Masters who interpreted the teachings, to Shima, the founder, who gave us these teachings, generations of Kaikyoshi overseas missionaries who did their best to open the teachings. Not because we have superior knowledge, not because they have a PhD or anything like that, but because they've accepted that job as a servant. And particularly here in Hawaii, how many generations of people went before us, came before us, to give us this temple, to give us this place. So they nourished and protected and cherished this precious gift of the Nembutsu teaching the path of Dharma and Makawao. And it's just an expression of gratitude, saying thank you, Amida, for this teaching, for bringing me to this place. So I just kind of found myself to hear this Dharma talk. I mean, I was just taking a walk after breakfast. And yeah, the Dharma comes to me. Amida finds me, just as I am. And so, we always put our hands together and say, Namo Davidsu and gratitude. Okay, and yes, and after 4 days in Kyoto, training, going crazy and all kinds of stuff, Mimi and I took the Shinkansen from Kyoto up to Tokyo for a family reunion. Mimi is originally from Tokyo. So we saw her at the Kachikawa side, her father's side of the family. Many of these people I haven't seen for maybe 20 years. At least 10 years. I mean, we left Japan in 2013. So we did get to see, lots of interesting stuff. And we got to check off everything we wanted to eat. So we made a list of everything to eat in Japan, and we checked off every one of them. So here's tonkatsu, which was my first choice. Okay. So, oops, and I've lost it all. Okay, there we go. If you've never had a Japanese, a breakfast buffet in a Japanese hotel, do it. And stay at a reasonably nice hotel that offers breakfast, usually a separate charge for this stuff. But, if you just try to take one bite of everything, it looks like this. So you can see why I needed to take a walk after breakfast, right? And we did get to see cherry blossoms. I was locked in a temple most of the time in Kyoto, didn't get a chance to see too much. But just wandering around the neighborhood where Mimi's family lives, we were able to see cherry blossoms. It's peaking right now. If there's people in Japan watching this, get outside, stop watching the screen. Here's a good one. Sichuan mapo tofu. In the original Sichuan stuff. Chinese, very spicy. Really hard to find this kind of food here in Maui. There's one or two places in Oahu that are pretty close, but because Mimi and I lived in China, we miss food like this, and you can get it in Japan, of all places. Sashimi. You just can't get this kind of sashimi in Maui. If you're in Oahu, the really expensive places that fly in by airplane every day, close. But you're not going to find anything like it. So we got to eat our sushi and more sushi. I'm sorry, these are all sashimi. These are all the appetizer bits. So yes, you can be relieved that I got to eat everything I wanted to eat. We did see the family. And on the way back, we headed quickly over in Honolulu to get back to Maui. And we picked up our grandchildren. So it's been a little bit of a busy time. I came back with a cold in my nose, and Mimi caught it from me, so we're both struggling a little bit. But I just wanted to say to everybody here, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, one, for me to participate in very meaningful training, but also for Mimi and I to take a break, to go back to Japan, and for Mimi to see her family again, and for us to eat everything on our list of food to eat. Okay. So thank you very much for listening this morning, and may your day be filled with love. So let's all chant the Epa Sutta, the Loving Kindness Sutra, together. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. My screen's slow. What? We did that one, right? Okay, sorry. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay, please rise if you're able, and we'll conclude the service by singing Ondok-san, followed by the Nebuchadnezzar. The words of the Buddha. If something needs to be done, then do it, and do it wholeheartedly. The words of the Buddha in the Dhammapada, this is verse 313. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Thank you. Please be seated. So let's sit together again quietly for a few moments. So just relax and get comfortable. If you're able, sit forward in your seat and place both feet flat on the ground. Sit up straight, align your head, neck, shoulders, and back in a straight line that goes down to the floor. Place your hands comfortably in your lap. Now close your eyes halfway, so you're looking both outwardly and inwardly. And just breathe. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. As you breathe in, think of something for which you are grateful. And as you breathe out, just say mahalo. Just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Just breathe. The sound of the gong will signal the end of our quiet meditation.
very much. So at Honzan, they teach you don't step on that thing because you'll fall over. So thanks for joining our service. Just a couple of announcements to go over our schedule. Okay, so we're reaching the end of March already. We're entering the second quarter of the year. So tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at Wailuku Honganji, we have the official mayor's proclamation of Hanamatsuri Week in the county of Maui. So the Honorable Mayor, Richard T. Disson, will make an official proclamation in person, and everyone is welcome to attend. So if you'd like to meet the mayor, it is an election season, so it will be there. And again, each temple will be receiving a certificate, which is the official proclamation. And so we'll be taking group photographs, temple by temple. It's kind of a big deal to get the mayor's attention. So if you're free, please show up. Sometimes it's only just the ministers. And politicians tend to put on unhappy faces, if a lot of people don't show up. So if you happen to be free, it's a chance to do it. April 5th, there's no service here. We're having the Central Maui Hanamatsuri, also at Wailuku Honganji, starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. So this is all of the the Japanese Buddhist temples of Maui. We try to get together for Hanamatsuri every year. So you'd be welcome to do that. April 12th, we'll have a Hanamatsuri here at Makawao. We'll have a guest speaker, Reverend Natsumi Makawao, who has a master's degree in Jodo Shinshu Studies from Yukoku University. So she was my classmate in the seminary, but she went on to get a master's degree, so she definitely knows more than I do. If you're really interested in that sort of stuff, her thesis was on the difference between Genshin's Nenbutsu and Honen's Nenbutsu. Pure Land Master number 6 and Pure Land Master number 7. An entire master's thesis on the differences in the Namuami Dabutsu between those two Pure Land Masters. So I don't think she's going to talk about that, but she knows a lot of stuff. April 19th should be third Sunday with Dharma school, so get the kids. And then April 26th, Eshini Kakushini service. This is Shinran Shonin's wife and his daughter. So two women without which the Honganji would not exist. So every year we do this service that's sponsored by the BWA, formerly known as the Buddhist Women's Association. Again, to recognize the contribution and the role of women in the Honganji. And our guest speaker will be Dr. Miki. Dr. Miki Tomita Okamoto, who has a PhD. She's not a medical doctor, she's a PhD from Stanford University. She's originally from Wailuku, so she's a Maui girl. You don't run into too many women who have PhDs from Stanford. She runs an educational consultancy. But she's going to come. She's also the keynote speaker for next year's BWA World Convention. So she's one of the keynote speakers. So anyway, you can look. She's a faculty speaker. She's not ordained or anything, but she's going to be speaking as our guest speaker. Sorry, I lost my slides again. And that's it. Okay. Anybody else have any other announcements? If not, please join us in the social hall. We've got refreshments. I think that's it. And I think Cadence has reached the limit of his patience. Thank you very much for being a little kid, Cadence. And we'll see you all up there in the social hall in a couple minutes. Thank you.